Let's get it on now. Select and make your first pick. Let's get it on now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Let's get it on now. Choose and pick the best one. Let's get it on now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's get it on now. Select
Good
and
morning.
make your first pick. Let's get it on now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
The man you see before you is named Lewis James, who is just your normal, average 23-year-old man, who was born in Denver, Colorado but had to live in Queens, New York, with his foster stepmother who adopted him when he was 13, after his biological parents died from drug overdoses when he lived in Colorado. To make things more difficult, he also has 2 sons living with him and his stepmother, after his ex-girlfriend Emily got a life sentence for murder. Because of this, he had to drop out of high school at age 16 to find a job, which he got working at night as a bouncer at a local bar. But he was getting very little pay, only getting $500 a month. James felt very lost during all this, but was always in search of a much better job to provide a much better situation for his family. However, due to not finishing high school while looking after 2 boys, it was difficult for him to find one. However, that all changed one day. As he was walking home from work, he noticed a boxing gym. As he went inside the old broken gym, he was greeted by an old fellow named Joe Doyle, who asked Lewis if he wanted to learn how to box, with no other option to support his family and stepmother. He said yes to the opportunity, starting his boxing career. Lewis James, a determined aspiring boxer, found himself 1 year into his intense boxing training, struggling to find fights that offered decent pay due to him not having any amateur experience. However, his luck changed when he stumbled upon a boxing poster announcing an 8-man welterweight tournament hosted by the United States Association of Boxing for unknown or unranked up-and-coming boxers. The winner would not only receive a cash prize of $10,000, but also be ranked in the top 15 in the U.S. boxing rankings. Recognizing the immense opportunity, Lewis shared this information with his boxing coach, and they both believed it was his best chance to make a name for himself. Before the start of the tournament, doubts loomed large, but Lewis surprised everyone by defeating an unbeaten 4-0 boxer named Matt Marks in the first round, before beating a 3-1 fighter named Kelvin Edwards, showcasing his skill and determination. However, in the final match, he faced Theo Jeffers, a fighter with a strong amateur and professional record. Despite James's immense willpower, it was not enough to secure the win. Determined not to let this setback define him, James vowed to not only win the U.S. boxing title, but also overcome the very opponent who had thwarted his chance at supporting his family. After losing his match in the 8-man tournament, Lewis's boxing coach told him to rest up for a couple of weeks. The coach wanted Lewis to take a break from boxing to clear his head, so Lewis spent this time off with his 2 boys and his mother. However, Lewis still felt that something was missing that had cost him his fight with Theo Jeffers. One night, when everyone was asleep, Lewis decided to watch the bout between him and Theo Jeffers and discovered a few key mistakes that had led to his loss. Determined, Lewis returned to the gym not only to win, but to redefine his fighting style to become a more well-rounded boxer. This decision paid off as his coach organized 3 mid-card U.S.-ranked fights for Lewis, all of which he won by knockout. After these victories, Lewis faced Theo Jeffers in a rematch, with the winner breaking into the top 10 U.S. boxing ranking. Thanks to his redefined, well-rounded boxing style, Lewis managed to win by split decision and finally get his revenge on the man who had handed him his first loss. After triumphing over his rival, Lewis James set his sights on claiming the top spot in the U.S. boxing ranks. His coach advised him to defeat one more of the top 10 fighters to earn a title shot. Lewis achieved this by securing a spectacular knockout victory in his last fight, elevating him to 7th place in the U.S. boxing ranking. However, the reigning champion relinquished his belt, prompting the Boxing Association to arrange an 8-man tournament to determine the new U.S. boxing champion. Without hesitation, Lewis signed up for the tournament. Leading up to his first match, Lewis intensified his training to further enhance his aggressive fighting style, which paid off when he secured a 3rd-round knockout against 8th-ranked Eddie Whitaker. In the semifinal, he faced his rival, Theo Jeffers, and emerged victorious in a decisive match by a KO in the 4th round. Then, despite being knocked down in the 2nd round, Lewis rallied to knock out the number 2 ranked fighter, Michael Eastman, in the final, claiming the U.S. title. However, tragedy struck later that night.